to deliver a big blow to the reigning national champs here at home as they kick things off, and North Carolina Central on the return. That's Brandon Codrington. Codrington looking for some room and tackled at about the 25-yard line. So we featured Davius Richard in the open. He's helping to lead this North Carolina Central offense to 32 points a game. Recently announced just yesterday, the William V. Campbell finalist for great student athlete, scholar athlete, and Davius Richard is a guy who just does it all, a program carrying kind of quarterback. Devin Smith in motion. First play from scrimmage, and they hand it off, and that's Collier, and Collier is wrapped up by Octavian Minter, and then some chippiness going on, some extracurricular afterward. I told you that we would see very passionate play between these two teams, and already getting hyped up with an injured player down on the field for North Carolina Central.
First running play of the game, and there's almost a fight that breaks out. You can tell, and this is a midweek game, a Thursday night game, and the intensity is intense, and there's electricity in the air. Both programs know how important this football game is.
You think over the last few seasons how it's played out, and obviously South Carolina State winning last year at home against North Carolina Central. In fact, they've had the Eagles' number for the last 3 meetings.
And that's why, you know, Trey Oliver, rising star in the coaching profession, but he's like, I'm putting nothing past Buddy Pugh. Don't let Buddy Pugh say, I don't know what we're going to have this year with the Bulldogs. He knows if there's anything the Bulldogs can do from South Carolina State, it's give North Carolina Central trouble.
Another look at that play as Collier, who was quickly wrapped up, and still trying to see who the injured player down on the field for North Carolina Central is, and it is in fact Collier. They like to call him Mookie, being helped up, and well, he is an integral part of this offense, a graduate out of Bluefield, West Virginia.
And they need him. I mean, you know, one thing about North Carolina Central, they started to develop star power, and Mookie Collier is one of those stars to go along with Davius Richard. They have a very tight bond. His hardcore running style is sort of the identity of this Eagle offense.
So in the backfield now, Jamari Taylor, who's also an outstanding running back, junior out of Charlotte, North Carolina, behind Davius Richard. And he handed off to 4, and there is Jamari Taylor. Taylor, who was coming off of an injury before last game, versatile, he's got some quickness, likes to run between the tackles, and a pickup of 10 and a first down.
And good job of just exploiting the crease. Good job by the offensive lineman, getting downfield. The right tackle, Daquan Thomas, opening up holes, and it was just a matter of Taylor finding daylight.
It's going to be incumbent upon this offensive line to try to create holes and gaps for this running and rushing attack for the Eagles to be successful, as it has been all season long. Twan flipped the man who was in motion, and right there to greet him is Zan Dunham. Zan Dunham, the strong linebacker, a tackle for a loss of 1.
And that's a great job of playing the blocker and finding the ball carrier. They flexed the running back out wide, so that brought a linebacker out there in coverage, and he took a bad situation and made it a good defensive play for the Bulldogs.
When you talk about defense, I mean, that is synonymous with South Carolina State teams over the years. A strong defensive pedigree. Now on 2nd and 11 from the 36. Davius Richard takes the snap, play action into the hands of Devin Smith, and Devin Smith is tackled by Jamari Benjamin. Gain of a few on the play.
This is what you want if you're South Carolina State. You know, don't make it easy for the Eagles. And if there's been one thing that the chink in the armor for North Carolina Central, they get off to slow starts. So they wanted to get the team going fast-paced, and this is a big 3rd down right now.
The 6-1 Eagles have put together impressive wins, come from behind victories. You think back in that Campbell win along with Elon as well. On 3rd and 7. Play clock winding down. Richard looking, sees him, has a man. That's Jamari Taylor, and Taylor, he's going to take off, and nobody's going to catch him. In for the score. Pee Wee time. They say the 60-yard touchdown throw and catch.
Utilizing the speed in the backfield, poor angle taken by inside linebacker Aiden Weber. Watch number 8. That's a poor angle. He's in the trail position right away. He was coming up to try and hit him at the line of scrimmage. It became a foot race between Taylor and Weber. Man-to-man coverage. You have to put that one on Aiden Weber. When the guy's that fast, give a little bit of ground and let him catch the ball short before letting him get the deep ball on you.
Well, the longest pass allowed this season by South Carolina State. And you talk about a slow start. They must have heard you, Jay, because they got off to a blazing start on their opening possession. North Carolina Central with an explosive play. Jamari Taylor taking it in. And the Eagles soaring high after their first possession of the game. They're up 7-0.
ESPN's Thursday Night College Football is presented by McDonald's.
Motley, Harry Carson, Donnie Shell, along with Deacon Jones, the 4 Pro Football Hall of Famers out of South Carolina State. And what a great pipeline that's been created for the Bulldogs to the professional ranks back here at O'Kelly Riddick Stadium. And this one in and out of the hands and fumbled a touchback as we go back to that last touchdown from North Carolina Central.
Yeah, and take a look at Jamari Taylor in the backfield right away. You see he's lined up in the backfield, and watch this. Poor angle by the defender, and he just turns on the jets. You'll see Davius Richard recognize it right away. I'm looking. Oh, wow, he's doing a real route, not an out route, a wheel route. Too much separation, too much speed, great execution. And when I talk about the open, Davius Richard threw the ball effortlessly and accurately down the field.
Richard with his 7th touchdown through the air. And now here's Corey Fields, the quarterback on the other side for South Carolina State. He too has had a lot of experience within this program. His numbers on the season out of Hollywood, South Carolina, a leader and a player who is mature, as they are going to review that kickoff to see where exactly it landed. As that Jason Soisman again with this MEAC officiating crew.
It is. Take a look at it, because he signaled for the catch. Well, when you try to catch the ball and you don't, you can just let it go, but it didn't go into the end zone. He touched that ball, and I think the question becomes, did it go out of bounds before, or did it go into did it hit the pylon then go out of bounds?
Let's take another look here.
So he definitely touches it, but where does the ball go?
It looks like it crosses over the pylon and back out of the end zone.
Yep. I mean, definite touch, and then I think it hooks around and behind. You got to go with the official there. I think the official saw it go over the pylon, so that would be the touchback variety. That's why he came up and made the touchback. See them, they stuck with the call on the field that it was a touchback, but you have to be careful in games of this magnitude. You have to pay attention to detail. That could have been huge in terms of where the starting field position would have been.
Great battle of coaches, the old versus the new, and 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Corey Fields hands it off to Juwan Howell. Howell, the true freshman running back, plunges ahead for 1. Well, South Carolina State, located in Orangeburg, South Carolina, just more than 4 hours away from here. Retired Colonel Alex Conyers is the president, and among the many accomplishments of the university, the only HBCU to offer a bachelor's degree in nuclear engineering. They also push out a lot of generals as well into our armed forces. The most minorities of all HBCUs, as Corey Fields looks for his intended target and overthrows Nigel Johnson.
And they have a lot of nuclear engineers and a lot of military folks, but they have a lot of football players too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they legendary. We saw coming out of the break, the 4 Hall of Famers that are on the defensive side of the ball. Not to be outdone, we're here at UNC Central. Do you think, Tiff?
All right. Here in the Bull City, founded by James E. Shepard. More than 8,200 students here, an excellent law school, a number of criminal justice majors, along with business administration majors for the Eagles. Corey Fields feeling the pressure, tries to escape, but cannot get away. It's thrown away at the last minute, but the pressure was brought. And the Eagles getting to Corey Fields. That's Mekhi McCall. McCall, the redshirt sophomore out of Snellville, Georgia.
And got just enough and had the strength to hold him down. And Corey Fields, I'll give you credit getting rid of this football. He threw it where somebody was in the area, realized he couldn't take a sack. So you can't call intentional grounding because somebody was close by. They're going to be fortunate to be able to punt this ball away.
3 and out and booted away. And it's going to be returnable for Brandon Codrington. Codrington with a great move. Codrington across the 50-45 and then slung down. But bringing the energy early on are the Eagles here at home. NCCU with great starting field position when we come back to Bull City. Your way Saturday on ABC. It starts with 4th-ranked Florida State just down the road at Wake Forest at noon. Then BYU going to Austin to take on the 7th-ranked Longhorns. And the nightcap, Colorado and 23rd-ranked UCLA out of the Pac-12, 7:30 Eastern. And I'll tell you this, Shedeur Sanders, what a season that he is having at Colorado. The Buffs looking to bounce back after that bye week and trying to erase that loss from Stanford. But Shedeur has been balling. I'm
going to use his line. He didn't even average 345 yards passing the game when he was at HBCU. Now he's putting them up there against the big boys, and the numbers are going up. But we knew he was a talent. Hats off to the young man getting the job done in Boulder.
We'll see if he has time this weekend against the Bruins. Jamari Taylor remaining in the backfield with Mookie Collier, who went down on the first play of the game. Richard out and just sails it from Joaquin Davis. And again, a lot of chippiness early on in this game between Zan Dunham and Devin Smith this time.
And Dunham is a high motor guy, and he's an athlete. I mean, he played quarterback in high school, and he keeps improving over and over. One of the best athletes on this defense. They say he's got the talent and the skills to be the next one. And you can tell right now he knows something's on the line, cranking up the intensity on the field.
Remaining focused and locked in. This is what Trey Oliver wants his team to do. They started out strong on the opening possession here. Davius Richard once more, right down the middle, and finds Luke Bracey. Luke Bracey, the tight end, with a great gain. Jalen Evans on the tackle, and you immediately identified that QB.
Yeah, I like that because they ran not one but 2 guys through the A-gap. After the play action, you're going to have the tight end and the running back right behind them. One of those guys is going to be open. The linebackers got a little confused on who was guarding who. You see the cell right there, just coming right down the middle of the field for the big play for the Eagles.
25-yard completion. Matt Leone, the offensive coordinator, so far moving the ball well with his plays against the Bulldogs. Jamari Taylor ahead and into the red zone as the Eagles look to once more find pay dirt.
And normally you say the key is like 3rd down, but South Carolina State defense in this game, they've been getting ahead. They've been winning 1st down over and over, limiting the Eagles to just 2 yards a carry or 1 yard. But the explosive plays have gotten them in trouble, particularly on 2nd down.
It was a 60-yard strike. And Taylor found the end zone here on 2nd and 9 from the Bulldogs. 19, Davius Richard. And just dropped on the quick route to Joaquin Davis. And Davis sees it goes through his hands. 3rd down upcoming.
Can this Bulldog defense make a stop here? And you see the arm strength. This ball gets there with a lot of velocity. That's got to be a catch. That's supposed to be a 1st down completion. So early on, we're seeing Davius Richard accuracy on display. He's throwing dimes tonight.
In his final season with the Eagles out of Belle Glade, Florida. Directing as the signal caller. Drops back. And too tall into the hands of the Bulldogs, through the hands of the defender. And coming up with the interception is Malcolm McGee. He's a guy who's been around the block a time or two. And coming up with the big INT in the red zone. Only the 4th turnover this season for North Carolina Central.
Took advantage of it. What it was, they saw the blitz coming. Richard was expecting the receiver to get out the break a little sooner. He knows where he's going with the ball. Slot receiver, but he misses high. See that? And he misses high, forcing the receiver to leave his feet. That's Twan Flip, who's only a 5'8" wide receiver. He had leverage, and if the ball was thrown lower, would have been a big play. Instead, tip ball, great recognition by Malcolm McGee, Bulldog football.
South Carolina State sees Corey Fields in the offense come back onto the field, and no gain on that 1st down run from the Bulldogs QB.
And if South Carolina State's going to score any points in this game, they have to run the football. They need to come up with running, and they got a huge turnover right there to keep points off the board. But the key for them is having the ability to run the football, control the line of scrimmage.
And 2nd and 10, rolling out IDs. Keyshawn Toney, and Toney drops it, picked up by Max Urin, and Urin scoop and score! So the Bulldogs hand it right back over through the hands. Well, Keyshawn Toney caught it, coughed it up, and Max Urin in for the score from 20 yards out. North Carolina Central erasing that turnover. Let's take another look at it.
Now you see coming up off the slot, that's a great job of dislodging the football by Cole Jones. You knew the tight end was going to make the catch, but he had to turn sooner or later towards the line of scrimmage, and Jones put a big hit on him.
Well, they scored within the first 2 minutes of the opening drive of this game, and now their defense comes through in a major way. And the 10th ranked North Carolina Central Eagles out to a 2-score lead, make it 14-0 after that made PAT by Adrian Olivo.
And this is what a great team does. The offense leaves a little couple points on the board. Defense says, hey, don't worry about it. We got your back. Good hit, dislodges the ball. North Carolina Central in control.
Stands here, and how about the Royal Court? The fellas getting after it. Their fresh pink suits in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And let me tell you, there's nothing like the vibe. Hey, they're getting ready. This is the pregame for homecoming, the ultimate homecoming experience at North Carolina Central next weekend.
And the football team is getting it going. And, you know, I'm a band guy. I love bands. But I will tell you, every time we come in the stadium, they got one of the most hyped stadium DJs that you're going to see. He plays the right song for the occasion all game long.
On the kickoff, Demetri Simmons, the fair catch. You talk about the marching 101, made the trip here to Durham, the NCCU sound machine. So we're going to have a good halftime. We're going to have a good battle in the stands as well. The question is, on a Thursday night, are they going to do a little fifth quarter action too? That's after the game, where the bands stay in the stands and battle.
Tiffany, it's a school night. the band's got to be a class tomorrow. So pretty sure there won't be a fifth quarter here like we normally see on weekends. But the key right now is the band going to have something to cheer about. Corey Fields going to get it together. This is what can be frustrating about Corey Fields. Like, he has what it takes to win a championship because he's won one before when they won the Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Casey Fields on the carry, and he's one of those complementary pieces, those young pups in the backfield. Gain of 6 there. That's going to potentially help Corey Fields try to make that sprint to the end of the season to possibly make a return to the Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, and they have 4 freshman running backs that are really good. 2 of them are redshirt freshmen. 2 of them are true freshmen. Casey Fields right now on the field, true freshman, and you see he's got some giddy up in his step.
On second down, they hand it right back to him. And Fields, tough run in there, stopped by Jaden Flaker, the linebacker, and it's third down.
Yeah, but this is what you like, controlling the line of scrimmage. The patience, you see everybody winning their battles, and then the running back has a hole to go through. As he runs through, Jason Chambers, the cornerback, comes up to make a tackle. And 3rd and 1, you live with that all day. You let your offensive line continue to do their job.
An experienced group. All MEAC selections up front. Cam Johnson, Nick Tace, their best O-lineman, Eric Brown Jr., the center. The snap, handoff, and Howell just having a chest match, and Manny Smith trying to push him back, but it's good enough for a first down.
And you started to wonder, was Fields going to get himself in trouble trying to slide down the line of scrimmage with Max Urin there? Like we used to say, meeting head up in the hole, but all he needed was a yard, and that's a good sign that the Bulldogs were able to pick up the first down on 3 consecutive running plays.
Buddy Pugh looking on, feeling very confident in Corey Fields coming into the season when we have the opportunity to talk with him during media day, saying this is a guy who has grown, he's matured, coming off of a disappointing season overall. He's come back and taken the reins in a major way. That first down run was snuffed out immediately. Thomas Johnson was there on the stop. A little action after it, that loss of 5.
And what they're showing you is, okay, we know you can run the football on us, so we're going to stunt our line. And when they come out and make moves like that, this means basically they're going to dare Corey Fields to complete some passes. So you can't just come out in nowadays college football and just say, I'm just going to run it right down you. You do the run, you earn their respect, and then when they crowd the box, they're like, okay, now we'll make you throw the football.
Here's 2nd and 15. His top receiver, Justin Smith-Brown, is out with an injury, so Corey Fields looks to Nigel Johnson, one of those playmakers on the outside, to step up in his absence.
Yeah, they really needed him to replace Justin Smith-Brown, who become their ultimate weapon. And good job by the offensive coordinator, Kevin McGlorkin. Move in the pocket a little bit. One thing about Corey Fields, when we look at the scout report, what they say, he can get a little bit of happy feet in the pocket. If you got a guy like that, get him on the run. If he likes to run and get jittery in the pocket, get him on the edge. Nice looking play, sets up 3rd and manageable.
They have to get to the 45-yard line to pick up the first down. And they hand it off straight ahead, downhill running by Jawarn Howell, and Howell only picked up 1 there. Good run stop and support for the Eagles. That was Jaden Flaker there to meet him. And 4th down, the question, do you go for it? Punting unit maybe coming on.
I would think so. That's what you got to go for there. In this case, it's a championship game. You're down by 14 points. A little surprised to see them bring out the punt team as Jason Chambers on my site came up and made a tackle to stop him short. Ooh. You're supposed to be the running team. You control line of scrimmage, but you can never second-guess Buddy Pugh with all the wins he's done.
No. And looking at the field position, they'd be giving up a whole lot. So on the punt, Maxion Cobb punts it back to the 20-yard line where the fair catch is signaled by Codrington. Well, you mentioned Buddy Pugh, and oh man, let's just give you a list of accolades for this stellar head coach. 4-time MEAC Coach of the Year, 8 MEAC championships, 3 HBCU national championships. We've already mentioned winningest coach in program history, exceeding his buddy, in Willie Jeffries.
Yeah, it's so hard to replace a legend. Willie Jeffries was a legend in South Carolina State. And I think Buddy Pugh in his 22 years kind of took that and raised the bar. Definitely statistically he did so. And the HBCU world is going to miss him for sure.
More than 4 decades of coaching here on first down. And it's Davius Richard deciding to keep it himself, a gain of 7 on first down. You said, hey, look, there's a couple of ways that Davius Richard can beat you, but we've seen him have such great success on the ground.
And decision making, when he's going to pull the ball, he's going to get positive yards. And that's how you judge a quarterback. Because if you're only going to get 1 yard or 2 yards, they tell you should have probably given the ball to your running back. But when Davius Richard pulls the ball, he's going to get 4, 5, 6 yards.
Big, strong, dual threat, great student athlete. Davius Richard is the total package. Empty backfield here on second down. Straight up the gut, the blitz, but right there, the completion to Jamari Taylor and a first down. Driven out by Jalen Evans.
We talk about a tough quarterback. People say, oh, he's big, strong, and tough. Well, this is how you use your size. When you're in the pocket, watch this. He knows he's going to get hit. But watch him just turn his shoulder. Okay. And still threw the ball. Okay, you got a clean path towards me, but I'm going to stand tall in the pocket, complete the ball out, and take your hit. That's why you need those strong quarterbacks.
Coaches can't say enough great things about Davius Richard, a.k.a. Pee-wee, a nickname that was given to him by his family growing up. First and 10, right there to greet the receiver was Malcolm McGee, who came up with that interception earlier. But a gain of 6 on the play. And here's second down.
They continue to try to bring the slot blitzer in Zan Dunham, but Richard's seeing it. So when he threw the interception, he saw it. Just the throw wasn't there. Well, they try the same look, and you can tell he's picking up the defenses that they're trying to throw at him.
Andrew Smith coming in tight. Jamari Taylor on the handoff. And the carry of about 1 yard on the play. Makai settles with the stop. So here on third down, remember, no Latrell Collier, but right now it doesn't seem like the Eagles' offense is missing a beat.
Yeah, Davius Richard taking on themselves, and we've seen Jamari Taylor coming to make some big runs. But big third down right now for your South Carolina State, because your coach elected to punt the ball trying to win the battlefield position. Well, now it's 3rd and 3. The Bulldogs need to come up with a stop.
Under 2 minutes in the opening quarter. A 14-0 advantage for the home Eagles here. Richard escapes the pressure, keeps his eyes downfield, decides to take it himself. He's done that so well. As Davius Richard runs for the first down. I think he lost the handle there at the end of the run.
Into the run, he's got the ball, and as he's moving it to his left hand to run, I think he just kind of comes out. Fortunate for them, but how tough is that when you dial up good defense, but a running quarterback like Davius Richard extends the play, picks up the first down.
Fresh set of downs for the Eagles offense. The handoff to Jamari Taylor. Taylor trying to sneak through that left side and found some space. A gain of a few, as it was Tavian Minter on the stop, and a penalty marker is down on the far side.
South Carolina State, South Carolina Morning.
Now, the uniqueness of the stadium. I'm not giving any sideline warnings. You know why? Because this stadium reminds me of North Dakota State, where the distance between the sideline and the stands is only 8 yards. So where are you supposed to go? You're a visiting team. You're there. The fans are right on you. Look how close that is. You see the top of your screen. That's where the fans are. You can't call sideline warning here, man. Come on, ref.
On second down, flags fly out as the pass is complete up the seam to Quentin McCall, but it's in the area in the backfield after that 27-yard completion. We'll hear from Jason Soisman.
We saw a helmet go off.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 95. The 15-yard penalty. First down. Number 65 helmet came off as a result of the foul. He may remain in the game.
And that's a good part about it. So you'll see number 65, Trey Richburg there. And the 95 yanking his helmet all over the place. Good job by the official calling it right away. And because there was a penalty call for that, he gets to stay in the game. Well-executed play by the Eagles, and South Carolina State on the ropes.
So they tacked on the penalty after the completion. And here in the red zone once more. Final seconds of the first quarter ticking down, as this will likely be the last play of the opening period. Instead, Trey Oliver elects to spend a timeout.
The first of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
All right, well, with a little break in the action right here, let's take a look at what's going on in the world of HBCU football. And let's go with my power rankings, Tiff. Coming in at number 5, the Panthers from Prairie View A&M. They're on their way to Tallahassee to play the Rattlers for their homecoming. It could be a good one. Number 4, Jackson State hanging around. They're a pretty good team coming off a loss, but I understand that. Number 3, the job Eddie George is doing for Big Blue, Tennessee State University. They continue to win and look impressive doing so. Number 2, Rattlers, you're on upset alert, because Prairie View's coming to town. I heard their bus is going to make it to the stadium, see if they can get the job done down in Tallahassee versus a very talented Rattler team. And the number 1 team is, well, you're looking at them, folks, North Carolina Central University. It really ain't even close right now. And on the bubbles, Benedict and Alcorn.
All right, let's see if the top-ranked Eagles can get closer or potentially into the end zone, as Jamari Taylor with some cuts up the middle and near the first-time marker, just a yard short, stop by Jalen Evans, and that brings us to the end of the quarter.
And I know if you could add your Tiff's 2 cents to my power rankings, you may change the order between number 1 and number 2, but they'll settle it on the field. We've got a good old-fashioned showdown here, but North Carolina Central showing you why they're the best HBCU in the country right now. They're up 14-0 here at home.
Number 1 team in HBCU football, up by 2 scores. Just moments ago, we got a chance to talk to their head coach, Trey Oliver. Fast starts, how important was it for you all to put up 14 in that first quarter?
That was huge. You know, we hadn't started this fast in, I think, probably about 5 weeks. So I was really impressed with our guys, how we started. Still had a couple of drops, though, that resulted into an interception. But so far, so good.
Hey, Coach Oliver, at your request, I'm gonna let Tiffany ask my second question.
All right. In terms of just the way that your team has come out, and since we saw some chippiness earlier, do you like that energy from your team?
You know, we were here to play football. I don't like the chippiness, but, you know, when you have 2 championship teams and, you know, it's a lot on the line right now. So, guys, a lot of emotions out here on the sidelines. But, you know, it's all good. As long as we don't get any penalties, it's fine.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
2nd and 2 here for North Carolina Central, threatening to score once more as Davius Richard calls his own number and into the end zone. The all-time leading rusher for North Carolina Central keeps on adding to his total for his career.
It's a good football team here. The best team in HBCU football for a reason in terms of the rankings. And got to go back to South Carolina State electing to punt the football on 4th and 1.5, 4th and 2, down by 14. Central is delivering tonight.
Let me clarify that. All time in terms of career touchdowns, Davius Richard keeps adding to his total. Adrian Olivo on for the extra point, and it's through. You think about the fast starts. Hey, 9 plays, more than 4.5 minutes worked off the clock, and they drive 80 yards down the field. If you go back to looking at that play, Davius Richard has done this all season long.
Absolutely. And give credit to the offensive line there. Good job by number 65 getting out front, Richburg. So he had a guard and a running back to act as his envoy into the end zone. Nobody there, 2 guys taking on one, not enough bodies, and good execution. And you see why Davius Richard responsible for 17 touchdowns on the season.
NCCU Sound Machine providing the soundtrack in the stadium, and everybody's loving it right now. You think about the Eagles, 18 plays, 163 total yards in the first quarter.
Yes.
Compared to 22 total yards and half that amount for plays for South Carolina State. They've got to make some adjustments and figure it out here to try to get on the board. Bulldogs will have that opportunity after this fair catch from Dimitri Simmons, and the Bulldogs offense will come back out onto the field. Meanwhile, we can let you know a little bit more about Pee-wee, a.k.a. Davius Richard. On game day, they say he turns into Pee-wee, and they love that about him. But what I love about him is the fact that he was the first in his family to graduated magna cum laude, might we add, currently working on his Master's of Business Administration, the Scholar Athlete of the Year out of FCS, and is currently one of the 16 finalists. For what?
For the
Campbell
Campbell Trophy, which is about academics and athletics on the field. But come on, you're going to leave out the bottom there?
That's where you come in.
He serves as a team barber, so, that's a quarterback always looking out for his teammates, literally and figuratively.
Corey Fields overthrowing Keyshawn Toney, who coughed it up earlier. And the defense for North Carolina Central capitalizing. So how important was it for you when you played to have that team barber? Like, how many times did you go into the room and say, hey, man, fade me up, man?
If I was a quarterback, so I always had to keep my fade on tight. Right? I knew those cameras
were going to zoom in
at some point. Yeah, so I was good friends with my team barber. We had to look out for you.
He's the quarterback doing it, though.
In today's society, you know what I would have done, though? I would have had an NIL deal from a barbershop.
Tyler Smith, first carry of the game for the redshirt freshman out of Gaffney. Now, they have 2 Tyler Smiths on the team, both freshmen, so they call him Tyler Smith Gaffney.
Gaffney, from Gaffney. It's interesting, and as they continue to try and get something going, but this Central defense is just flying around the ball. Cole Jones right there. 3rd and long. These are the situations that don't favor this Bulldog offense.
Corey Fields has to make the play, dumps it down to Tyler Smith, and Smith, with some escapability, keeps on going, cross the 40, gets the first down. Max Urin on the stop, but that's positive yardage. 17 gained on the play, and only the second first down for South Carolina State tonight.
Yeah, 3 wide receivers to the right, so the defense naturally has to look that way, and then you slip in Tyler Smith from Gaffney to the left with some blockers. Nice execution by the Bulldog offense. Gotta get back to running the football, though.
Instead, Corey Fields double clutches, takes off himself. He runs the football up the middle of the field. And a touchdown saving tackle made by Khalil Baker. Baker, who they are so happy to have back, the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year a season ago, stopping Fields after that 37-yard pickup.
Yeah, almost a poor decision here. He's stuck, but then he starts thinking, let me just pick up any type of yards on first down, and an explosive play for South Carolina State. Maybe the spark they need to get this offense going.
A drive now into Eagle territory. The red zone, and Fields once more trying to find some extra blocking, trying to follow Keyshawn Toney in a gain of 4.
And that's a better decision in the run game by Corey Fields. If you're going to pull it from your runner, you have to get at least 3 to 4 yards, and he picked up 4 yards on that run there on first down, which is something that your offensive coordinator, they'll love that.
Well, Thomas Johnson is down on the field, the starting defensive end for the Eagles. He's being tended to by the training staff. When you talk about, Corey Fields, obviously, who knows this system, Buddy Pugh, who trust him. And when we got a chance to talk with the coordinators, they absolutely love the type of leader he is. We'll tell you more about that when we come back. The exclusive reveal of the first college football playoff top 25 rankings of the season. Reese Davis and the guys will break them down from top to bottom, have coaches' reaction, plus a live interview with NC State AD and committee chairman Boo Corrigan, 7 Eastern, and the best chance to win the title. And Jay, we were talking about this beforehand. The defending national champion, Georgia Bulldogs, just a 7% chance.
Did they lose last week and I missed it or something in all my travel?
No, still.
Well, that's bulletin board material for the Georgia Bulldogs, as if they need it anymore. So you got them behind Alabama with a less chance to win, even by that 0.5. Be interesting, but I'm sure the Dogs are going to have something to say about that.
I think part of the question mark is quarterback play, and they're back up there now.
Their backups won some games. Like I said, did they lose last week?
No.
Have they lost or something? I mean, undefeated, reigning champions.
Big 3rd down and 5 here for South Carolina State. Deepest they've been
one-on-one
tonight.
Coverage on the outside. You have to complete a pass.
Corey Fields is looking with pressure in his space and trying to escape Kendrick DeJour. And a face mask is going to be called likely as Laundry flies out.
I think they're going to get bailed out. I think you called it right, Tiff. He was leaving the pocket when they first got there. They grabbed the face mask first and pulled.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. Receiver number 12 was in the area. Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 96. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
So nowhere to run, and pretty obvious. You saw it right there, right in front of you. See Jason Soisman, a referee, calls it right away.
So this penalty right here aids the drive, keeps it alive, and now 1st and goal. Tyler Smith runs, but not much room to run. It's 2nd and goal.
Max Urin's having himself a pretty good football game. Active, as an inside linebacker, when you hear a team wants to run the football on you, you get hyped up. You're going to do whatever it takes and hit a little bit harder, try to get them to stop running the football. And right now, Central's taking away the strength of South Carolina State, which is the rushing attack.
Urin out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, making noise on defense. 2nd and goal for the Bulldogs.
Open.
Corey Fields looking for him, has his man. Keyshawn Toney walks in, touchdown. Well, Toney, who they wanted to get involved, they reward him after the miscue earlier. This time finds pay dirt, and South Carolina State on the board.
And that was a setup play. On the previous play, they handed the ball off. He was open. They saw that, said, hey, we're going to try the same look. Look how quickly he comes across. He's not even faking a block. They let him get a free release like that. On the previous play, they went right back to it. Good execution by Fields and Keyshawn Toney for the touchdown.
The extra point by Gavin Zimmerman is good, so cutting it to 2 scores after Keyshawn Toney, the transfer who comes in with experience. They say he's an integral part of the offense. They wanted him to be a safe target for Corey Fields, and he was just that here. And the Bulldogs coming alive and into the end zone. So Bulldogs got some fight and some fight here in Durham.
All righty, the Bulldogs, they made the trek down from Orangeburg, South Carolina here into Durham, and they finally got something to cheer about, Tiff. They got some points. The Bulldogs not going away, making this a fight. Still down by 14, but good setup. The offense did their job, got some points, and look, they can't tell they're down by 14. Look at them.
Jay, the importance of bringing your band on the road like this for a midweek matchup, a really, really good turnout here, but the Marching 101 getting Bulldog Nation hype here inside the stadium.
And I give credit to Buddy Pugh and the interim AD Keisha Campbell over there, making a commitment. Hey, whatever it takes to try and get our boys hyped up and some excitement for our fan base to go on the road, that's the way it should be done.
Codrington picks it up off the bounce, stays in bounce, still on his feet, spin move, and then finally brought down near the 30-yard line. Well, we can't wait for this one, folks. The much-anticipated boxing matchup between WBC heavyweight champ Tyson Fury and the former UFC heavyweight champ Francis Ngannou from Saudi Arabia. Available on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Coverage of the main card begins at 2 Eastern and can be purchased at ESPNplus.com/top-rank.
And I'm a boxing guy. And Tyson Fury, he can throw hands. Biggest heavyweight champion, and everybody thought the Klitschko's were good, but then here comes Fury, even bigger than them.
Chris Mosley in the backfield with Davius Richard, and Richard pass complete the stripe, and great tackle made there, and a good stop by Michael Brunson, bringing down Devin Smith.
Oh, they had the middle of the field open, and Smith knew it after making the catch. If I can make one guy miss, that could have been a possible touchdown.
So far tonight, 8 of 11 for Davius Richard. Plenty of time. Wide open is Devin Smith, and Smith pulls it into his hands, makes a cut and move, and he's in. Oh, baby. Another big explosive 60-yard play for the Eagles. NCCU strikes again.
And I was thinking South Carolina State finally had something to cheer about, but the defense is like, wait a minute, we still got to go out there and face that man, Davius Richard, picking them apart from the pocket. Explosive plays continue to hurt this Bulldog defense.
The second 60-yard play for a score. The first was Jamari Taylor, and this last time, Davius Richard found Devin Smith.
It starts with, the protection. Look at the pocket. He's able to read the defense and find a wide open, streaking Devin Smith down the sideline. Does a good job of one cut, getting towards the middle of the field, turning on the speed. But I remember watching it, and I was looking at DeMarcus Doe, like what he was looking. Was he caught peeking in the backfield? You see number 4 in the trail position, and Smith, the go-to guy, finishing off the run after catch with a big play.
Well, Devin Smith, the local product, who has been outstanding in this program, best all around, a guy with great hands, and who they say is just an awesome human being in the process. Strong connection with Davius Richard, and the two showed that right there. Well, just when South Carolina State thought they were inching a little bit closer, the Eagles pull away. Juan Velarde on the kickoff, and that one's going to bounce out of bounds, so that'll give South Carolina State field position at their own 35. Time now for who?
Jeez, give me 5, Tiffany. Just off the top of my head, I think the 5 things you need to know about North Carolina Central University. Number 5, I'm thinking about Maynard Jackson, mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, went to school here at North Carolina Central. James E. Shepard was the founder of the school and also was the president for almost 40 years. And what they say around here, Eagles fly high. That gives them the ability to soar. And then the nickname boys, Pee-wee and Mookie. Mookie Collier not in the game right now, but 2 outstanding players. And number 1, let's not forget, they're the number 1 HBCU football team in the country, unanimous, trying to go wire to wire.
All right, Jay, I like that. Give me 5. Tips 2 cents. Let me drop it. They say around here, Eagle Pride Amplified. And you talked about that great School of Law, Maynard Jackson, one of the alumnus, as well as Willie Carey on the carry as Jawan Howell for South Carolina State, gain of about 3.
I don't say this often around here, but I wonder, like, I have to ask, and I'm going to get myself in trouble, and that's what I do. What came first? Was it Aggie Pride?
Oh, come on. See there?
I'm just saying, Aggie Pride, you've heard it. But
there is no need to stir the pot, Jay. Right here, right now, in Durham, it's Eagle Pride Amplified.
I do like the Amplified. I'm just curious. I've always been curious about it.
Who you want to get yourself in trouble? Oh, Corey Fields is brought down. And what a play made by Dante Slocum. His first sack of the season, a loss of 8.
Just tracking down the quarterback. This is what you want your defensive lineman to do on the edge. You're not supposed to let him get outside, but if he tries to break contain, you go get him. Dante Slocum doing a good job tracking him down for the sack.
Long way to go for South Carolina State on this 3rd down. Got to get to the 45-yard line. And Corey Fields says, I'm going for it, but nobody in the vicinity of that one overthrows literally everybody. And here's 4th down on the way.
And that throw right there, you just wonder, I'm just going to let it go. I mean, he threw that ball almost 52 yards down the field. And, there's a stat that says most go routes are caught between 46 and 50 yards. Most of them 46 yards. So when you're throwing 52, that lets me know, that quarterback, he's just letting it go. He's not reading to see if that was a guy there. So maybe miscommunication between the wide receiver and the quarterback.
Carolina State.
Cobb back on the punt. Codrington signals for the fair catch as this one bounces out of bounds. And we'll step aside here from Durham with the 10th-ranked Eagles up big over South Carolina State. College football triple header Saturday, 4th-ranked Florida State on the road at Wake Forest, then BYU, Texas, followed up by Colorado at the 23rd-ranked UCLA Bruins. It's going to be a good one from the Rose Bowl. Trey Oliver in his 4th season, reigning MEAC Coach of the Year, an alumnus here, NCCU defensive back and punter, 4-time CIAA selection and performer. He's a guy who, again, is Eagle Pride amplified. As Jamari Taylor on the carry spins around, stays on his feet, and is finally brought down by Brandon Tucker, gain of 4.
It seems like a long time ago when Trey Oliver was on the hot seat here after his first year at North Carolina Central. People were wondering, did we make the right hire? We should have gone with somebody else. And now, I mean, he's hot. The program is hot. They have an identity, and this is a good football team, not just for HBCU standards. I mean, they're ranked number 10 in all of FCS, and rightfully so, because of the job he's done.
Well, you go back to last year and that huge win on the road against New Hampshire, a signature win for this program. They beat North Carolina A&T, their rival in the Tar Heels State, for the first time in 6 years, and since then they've been rolling. Did it again this year. Taylor, with plenty of room, slips through right up the middle, across the 45-yard line, and 15 yards and another 1st down.
I normally don't like replaying runs, that aren't big, but you have to do this because I just can't imagine. There was a time when you kept your head on a swivel running against the South Carolina State defense. He's running a little bit high up in the hole. They're barely bringing him down, taking it to him. I think, where's that Bulldog fight? I mean, they were like the toughest defense in the conference, and they took pride in it. And now, I don't know if it's they're a little worn out. They see the writing on the wall early, but, they got to use those pads and knock somebody out, knock the ball out, dislodge. Your offense is struggling, but this team should not be able to move the ball up and down the field like this.
Richard Chris Mosley was open. He overthrows them. Mosley checking into the backfield. We saw Jamari Taylor limp to the sideline. We saw Latrell Collier get injured on the first play. And so now the third string running back, Davius Richard, just missed him. And North Carolina Central now being
sideline warning.
With a sideline warning.
And this stage doesn't count, but you'll see another white jersey able to get behind a red jersey from South Carolina State. The explosive plays continue in this football game. It's not as if we've seen Central drive the ball down the field, take their time with like a 12, 14 play drive. These drives have been quick and doing a lot of damage.
Just over 7.5 remaining in the first half, and Davius Richard continues to spin and moving forward. Feet were trucking forward. Gain of 8 out of that, so to bring up third and short.
And you can see with the athleticism there, big, strong kid, but look how quickly he turns on the jet and so comfortable as a runner. I mean, watch the spin move. Quarterbacks don't really do that, so you see why teams like the Philadelphia Eagles have been in to see him on multiple occasions. His style of play is just football play with a great arm.
And true command of this offense, a player who has grown exponentially since his freshman season when Trey Oliver took over as head coach. That one batted down at the line of scrimmage by Jablonski Green. First time we've called his name tonight, Jay.
Green came in as a guy. He and Godbolt were supposed to be the two bookends.
As the officials sorted out Jablonski Green, we saw a return from an injury from last season. He was a guy who had NFL potential. Drew comparisons to Javon Hargrave, one of the greats who's currently playing in the NFL. Let's get the call.
Rolling on the field is an incomplete pass. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 65. Correction, offense, number 65. The 15-yard penalty, it will be fourth down.
Is that going against the left guard, Trey Richburg?
And really a key, it happened after the play. So third down is already completed in the books. Now it's fourth down, 15 yards back, and that's going to force the punt, because I'm pretty sure that Central was going to go for it. Had it remained just 4th and 2, they would have gone for it, but the 15-yard penalty too far back, they're going to kick it away.
First time tonight that the Eagles have had to punt it away. That's Juan Velarde. And inside the 15, that's where South Carolina State will start their drive when we come back to Durham. The marching 101. Everybody came to play on the field, in the stands, and this student section has been great tonight here at North Carolina Central.
They're good. I see you grooving with them, so you do a good job of grooving with them. You catch on to the dances really quick. That's your thing. That's your thing, but there was a lot of electricity in this stadium to get going, particularly for a Thursday night game. Nice crowd here in attendance. The weather's great. And once again, South Carolina State needs to get it going because the defense got to stop.
Trying to find some running room, but really nowhere to go for the running back, and Cole Jones on the stop. Loss of 1 on that play.
And go back. Let's go back to moving Corey Fields out of the pocket. You know, roll the pocket a little bit so you can loosen up the running lanes. And I thought when I watched them all week, I thought Juwan Howe was that running back for them. Sometimes they may have too many running backs in that room. They've got 4, and you can tell they rotate them every series. I want the best guy out there. It seems like Howe has that little something extra special about him.
Well, here's Tyler Smith out of Gaffney, South Carolina. The tackle made by Khalil Baker after that gain of 6. So third and manageable as they stick with Smith.
Yeah, watch Baker come up and fill the hole. We know he came into this game banged up, but wants to be out there. We're surprised to see him. He was a guy that has a number of NFL teams looking at him. Heart and soul guy, can move around, difference maker in the secondary for the Eagles.
Fields has it, overthrows Jordan Smith, 4th down. And it's just been that type of night for Corey Fields tonight. Only 4 completions on the game for him for just 39 yards. And Buddy Pugh would love to see things turn around for his team after back-to-back 3-and-outs. Obviously, many conversations will be had and adjustments plan to be made for this second half. But with over 5 minutes to go through the first 2 quarters, punting it away and back into the hands of the Eagles as Brandon Codrington fields it. Stiff arms one defender, stays on his feet. Juke move, still going, reverses field, and Brandon Codrington trying to outrun the coverage from South Carolina State and steps out after that 30-yard punt return.
Hey, I see you out there. Come on, lead the convoy, nigga, come on.
You know what I really like here? You're going to see some fantastic performances.
Hey, the HBCU marching bands, the Band of the Year competition will debut this December. The championship will be a culmination of a season-long competition. 4 bands, top 2 from Division I and then top 2 from Division II. That's going to be underway. HBCU National Championship from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, December 15th. Some movement there with North Carolina A&T taking over the top spot. We saw Southern there in the initial rankings. They moved down, and the blue and gold marching machine move up. Davius Richard looking,
wow.
has a man, oh my, picking apart Devin Smith, 29-yard reception with Malcolm McGee step for step with him.
Well, we know Smith is his go-to guy, and it looked like Richard was just getting ready to touch the football and run. But look at the patience. Right when he's getting ready to run, he sees somebody. Oh, wow. And look at that laser. That is a strong arm from a strong quarterback. So get him closer to the end zone once again.
On the 1-yard line.
Push.
North Carolina Central has it. You know they're going to call on number 11 to push it on in. He sneaks it through. And another score for Davius Richard. 2nd of the night for the QB. He says, hey, get up. All right, it's cool. We chill.
Yeah, he's a thermostat guy, right?
That's what I do, baby.
Never too hot, never too cold, and doing a good job. I'm going to tell you, this is the play we're seeing everybody run now, but the throw before, you talk about arm strength and releases.
We said earlier that Davius Richard is certainly strong. The PAT is good from Olivo. And let's go back to that throw that set up the touchdown.
Because here's where you talk about arm strength and everything else. From the time he recognizes, I'm going to throw the ball, right? So he's 35, almost 40 yards deep, right? Watch this. He says, wait, where am I going? Quick trigger, throws it. That ball's a laser going 38 yards down the field, only 8 feet off the ground. That's arm strength, and it got there in a hurry where the defensive back couldn't do anything. So we hear people say, oh, he's got a strong arm. Oh, he can make all the throws. I've seen all that. But I want to know, how quickly do you get the ball from point A to point B when you recognize it? And that showed you right there. He saw it, pulled the string real quick, big play. You can't teach that. You can't manufacture that. You either have it or you don't. And Davius Richard has it.
He is a special talent. And honestly, the arm strength was always there. One of the things that the coaches worked on with him in the offseason is just trying to improve that accuracy, a little bit of that throwing motion. And it continues to pay off. Shamonte Burgess on the return and coming down, flying down the field. The Eagles special teams unit coming through, and a flag not signaled on the field. But you think about Davius Richard, 10 of 15 through the air for 225 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Devin Smith has been his guy. 4 catches, 103 yards, past the century mark for his favorite target, Smith. Meanwhile, Kevin McGork returns to South Carolina State, back again, first season reunited with Buddy Pugh, and his unit's got to figure something out as Casey Fields runs the ball ahead for 4 yards.
And because they do running back by committee, you'll see Casey Fields on this series. And so, if you get hot, you get to stay in there, but I just like to go with that hot hand. They've got so much talent in there. They may have too much in there. As a running back, and normally, you like to get a little contact, start feeling it, and then you can get into your groove.
Fields tucks it himself, and the tackle made and driven backward by Thomas Johnson.
Remember when we talked about that RPO earlier, right? As a quarterback, if you're going to pull the ball, then your coordinator wants 4 to 5 yards. Fields pulled it right now and got 2.5, 3. So that's a little bit of the difference. And, should you give the football away, let your running back do it, or call your own number? As a quarterback, if you're missing and trying to throw moves at the line of scrimmage, then you probably should have handed the ball off.
Let's see what Buddy Pugh's team comes up with here on 3rd and 3. Don't want to hand the ball back over to North Carolina Central to give them a chance to add to the lead, as Corey Fields, passing complete, was going for Keyshawn Toney, and Fields shaken up after the play as he goes down to his knees on the field, seemingly favoring that left side. And Fields, you hope, missed the last 3 games after suffering an injury last year. And let's take another look at what happened.
I'm not going to describe what happened, what I think happened, but he should be all right.
So 3 straight 3-and-outs for South Carolina State. And Corey Fields just trying to shake it off.
Now, to make things worse, you have to be careful punting the ball to Codrington because he's feeling it. And special teams, the return man, Brandon Codrington's been doing a good job, so you have to do your best to kick it away from him.
The senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina, waiting for it. Shanked by the punter here and nearly into the stands.
That's one way to keep it away from him.
Well, coming up on the All-State Halftime Report, Kevin Connors, Trevor Maddich, and Sam Acho breaking it down. Virginia Tech rolling over the Orange. And how about the Saturday slate that's coming up? A great litany of games plus highlights and stats and so much more. When you look at this North Carolina Central offense, the way they've scored on their last 2 drives, they only needed 2 plays and just over 40 seconds to punch it into the end zone. And now, after a 12-yard punt, excellent field position for the Eagles immediately into Bulldog territory. Pass complete, and again, another laser into Twan Flip.
And I see what Coach Oliver's doing right now. What you do is you say, you know what, NFL scouts are watching. So they want to see everything they can of Davius Richard. Well, let's give him an opportunity to run the 2-minute offense so they can see how he controls it when he gets the calls on plays at the line of scrimmage and see how he manages this situation. This is an audition right now for Davius Richard.
And off to Jamari Taylor, and Taylor needs a couple of Bulldog tacklers to bring him down, including Aiden Weber. And it's been spirited down on the field since the opening play, Jay, as this is a team that has beaten North Carolina Central the past few meetings. And every game counts here in the MEAC on 3rd and short. 1:30 and ticking in the half. 2 for 4 tonight on 3rd down conversions. Let's see if the Eagles can keep the chains moving again. Richard has a man open instead, takes it underneath, and there's the speed of Twan Flip, who flies into the end zone. Yards and another Eagles score. Richard now over 8,000 career passing yards after that catch and run by Twan Flip Jr.
Did you see the acceleration on this? You called it. There goes that speed. I mean, there were 2 guys that were open. He took the easiest throw here. And watch this. I mean, he was taking angles as he turned on the speed. And
you see that? Oh, there's a little something from
like a little waltz in the park. He's had a little waltz in the park today.
This time, almost double up the time on the clock, and Central finding the end zone again. 3 plays, 38 yards in 1 minute and 34 seconds. And a tough one just through 2 quarters for head coach Buddy Pugh, a legend in this game. But Trey Oliver wants to leave no doubt in anybody's mind about who the best team is, not only in HBCU football, but within the FCS. And they have continued to prove week after week that they are legit. They continue to be the real deal, coming in with a 6-1 record, a couple of key wins this season, and looking to notch another big one here tonight.
Yeah, they beat 3 teams from the CAA, which is one of the upper echelon FCS divisions, and their lone loss came out of California to UCLA in the Rose Bowl. So nobody on this level has beaten the Eagles in a long time.
And you think about, well, how did they get here? Davius Richard, a big architect of the offense, passing 8,000 career yards through the air, second most in school history behind Earl Harvey. But Davius Richard continuing to add to his legend and his imprint on this North Carolina Central program.
And Harvey's one of the greats that played here at Central, but that was Division II in North Carolina Central. Now you're talking about FCS 1AA football, and Davis Richard, we knew he's one of the all-time greats.
Here's Juwan Howell trying to be great here. Best run and best play from the line of scrimmage tonight for South Carolina State. A huge play stopped by Juwan Hudson after that gain of 45 from the true freshman from Mooresville.
And I told you, I saw it earlier. When you watch him on tape, he's the one that has it. He can do it. He's a game changer. Great job keeping his balance and coming up with the big run for South Carolina State.
And they're going to call that a 48-yard gain for Howell. Watch out for him. They hand it off back to him once again. And brought down.
Now let's get up to the line of scrimmage. Now we have to have a little sense of urgency. See, this is where you need your leader to say, we got less than a minute. We got a big play. Let's get up there and hurry up. A little surprised that they're taking their time.
Here on 2nd and 5, Corey Fields finds Keyshawn Toney. Oh no, as Thomas Johnson batted that one, nearly brought it in, and it's going to be 3rd down. Well, Thomas Johnson, we've called his name quite a bit tonight, and the tip here from Johnson.
And that's just good recognition from Johnson. I'm not going to get to the quarterback, so I'm going to read his eyes and leave my feet, because the tight end, Toney, was open behind him.
South Carolina State won the toss. They deferred, and so they will get the ball to start the second half. They'd like to go into the locker room, putting more points on the board. Going for it, Nigel Johnson. Covered well by Brandon Codrington. And now that'll bring up fourth down.
I'm just going back to, you had the explosive run, and then you kind of just fizzled after that. I mean, you broke it down. There was a formula to get back in this maybe. You score a touchdown here, get the ball coming out of halftime, and you narrow it down, but you're going to be hard-pressed, and this has been a terrible half football for South Carolina State, just to be honest. They're playing a better team, seems like.
Right there is Keyshawn Toney once again, and in for the score. So just when you thought South Carolina State might retreat, they say no, and they're able to punch it in. 23-yard touchdown to Keyshawn Toney.
A little throwback screen there. We know Max Urin has been all over the field, but in this case here, looking in the backfield too much, not able to win a foot race with Keyshawn Toney. Maybe South Carolina State got that wake-up call. Scored this touchdown. They'll get the ball back to start the second half and see if they can dominate the second half like they were dominated in this first half.
Extra point is good. Keyshawn Toney with both touchdowns tonight for the Bulldogs.
Comes across the face of Urin, and once he does that, becomes a foot race. Nice play design, but nice execution by Toney.
Well, Buddy Pugh, one of those good-natured, just down-home, personable guys and individuals. That is not the half of football he would have wanted to see from his team, especially on national television. But when you've been around the block for more than 4 decades, you've seen a lot over your time as a head coach, and Buddy Pugh knows how to ride the waves.
And, one of the friendliest guys you'll meet. We talked to Coach Trey Oliver about Buddy Pugh, and he said that he's the reason why us coaches in the MEAC can talk to each other and get along and see each other during the offseason. Now, make no doubt about it, he's going to remind you, now I'm going to try and kick your butt on game day, but off the field, Buddy Pugh is one of the most genuine guys you'll meet that can really, really light up a room.
And you think about now who takes the reins in the conference. Trey Oliver is a guy who's helping to lead the way, but Larry Scott over at Howard, Dawson Odoms at Norfolk State, Damon Wilson at Morgan State, Lee Hole up at Delaware State. There's going to be a new wave within this Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. But there's so much owed, as you just mentioned, Jay, to Coach Buddy Pugh.
And if they can have half to a third of the success that Buddy Pugh's had at South Carolina State, then you would call that a good coaching career.
Well, that was an excellent half of football for Trey Oliver's squad. 333 total yards through the opening 2 quarters here from this MEAC Thursday night matchup in Durham, and everything pretty much went right for the Eagles as they were rolling after 2, up big here at home. After 2 quarters with a 41-14 lead over the South Carolina State Bulldogs, as we welcome you back inside the booth. Hey, there's Jay Walker. I'm Tiffany Green, and that first half, literally, North Carolina Central was cruising. They got pretty much everything they wanted.
Now imagine what it must be like to be Davius Richard right now. On national television, you had a bad game a week ago. You still got the victory, but he came out today and showed everybody why he is the best football player on this field. Getting the job done from the pocket. Opening drive of the game starts off with a touchdown throw. Second drive of the game, touchdown run. Establishing right away that he was a force to be reckoned with. Davius Richard putting everything on full display for North Carolina Central.
Trying to become back-to-back Offensive Player of the Year in the conference, and some emotion shown from the Cool Breeze quarterback out of the Eagles. And when you think about what he did in that first half, 5 total touchdowns, and he was responsible for nearly how many yards, Jay?
Almost 300, 283 yards of total offense. Coming into the game, he had 17 total touchdowns on the year. Taking on one of your conference rivals, and you add 5 more to that total, he's playing like a man on a mission, and that's a scary thought for the rest of the conference.
We talked about the ease with which North Carolina Central was able to move the ball. You got to circle there, though, 10 yards per play. That's the stat that sticks out.
The explosive plays, but imagine this. They have 332 yards of total offense. He's got 283 of them. So they only have 39 yards without him, something like that. Like, wow. It's an impressive performance, and you almost want to say, did y'all know he was coming to the game? Davius Richard, when he hurts you, he makes it hurt bad, and the ability to take advantage of the explosive plays has been something special to watch. And on the other side, there's this. Fields has to get it going here in the second half. 5 of 13, less than 50% throwing the ball, and besides the one run we saw early, Corey Fields, the quarterback for South Carolina State, is yet to make an impact on this game.
So then what adjustments do you feel like South Carolina State needs to make with Fields at quarterback, and where can they have success offensively?
That's been the story of Corey Fields all season long. You know, they say we go as he goes, and he's played some awful games, and he's played some decent games, so they can't figure it out. And for what I see right now, I think you have to feature your best offensive player, which they're doing, which is bringing in Jawan Howell in the backfield, getting him some touches.
And that pass is completely good enough for the first down as he's body slammed by Khalil Baker to the ground. Jordan Smith, however, holds on to the football. Their Swiss Army knife points in the direction of move the chains.
Picking up first downs, and there's no, you don't have a big play that you're going to score 30 points on one play. So you have to put consecutive plays back to back to back and take it one play at a time.
And right now, South Carolina State making sure they take their time. Ball at the 35-yard line for the Bulldogs. Nigel Johnson is in motion. And handoff to Jawan Howell. And Howell with some great room along that left side. Howell is again that great runner in his first year out of South Carolina State. Picks up 14 and near midfield.
Yeah, I mean, this is a true freshman playing running back for South Carolina State. Good hole on the outside led by Nick Tace, their best offensive lineman. But sometimes you just watch football and you say he looks the part. Well, Howell looks the part, and his future is bright.
He had offers ranging from Navy to Mississippi Valley State. Chose South Carolina State. And 22 for South Carolina State. That's Jawan Howell. 51 yards for the score. He said, watch out. I'm it. I'm him.
We saw it early in the first half. So this kid is special. Now, you got that 4 running back system, but no, you need to keep him on the field as often as you can. Once he realizes if I get through, there's nobody back there. So he bounced off one run and knew it was going to become a foot race, and he was able to finish off the job and outrace Jason Chambers to the end zone.
And the extra point is good by Gavin Zimmerman. Well, Howell finding the end zone. The longest run of the season for the Bulldogs. And thanks to Chandler Muller, who helped to open things up in the hole. Yes, sir, in for the score.
These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future. Pull up on them and it look nice. Look nice. Boy, I don't think they're ready for this.
Faith's Flowers wasn't living up to its name, but now she's using Amazon Business.
All right, let's take a look at how they were able to execute this long touchdown run. Take a look. You're going to see number 5, the tight end, Keyshawn Toney's going to get a seal along with Eric Brown, number 76. Opens it up with a wide running lane. The best offensive lineman along with the seal by the tight end equals a long touchdown run for the Bulldogs.
And how about 14 unanswered points for the Bulldogs? And there's Keyshawn Toney, who has been involved in all 3 touchdowns in some form or fashion tonight for South Carolina State. North Carolina Central gets the ball. Here's Smith, Devin Smith on the return. And the wide receiver brings the ball out to 30. We talk about the special night of Davius Richard, and he's still got another half to go. 5 total touchdowns. You added up the total yards, closing in on 300. And Davius Richard is a guy who has received all the accolades. Everything that you could have wanted, he's been able to amass. Best player in the conference on offense, a Cricket Celebration Bowl MVP, a finalist for the Campbell Trophy as well, a champion, and a terrific student here. On first down, hands it off to Jamari Taylor, tries to escape one tackler and Barber, and then brought down. There's good coverage there on the run. And Davius Richard is just a guy you want to root for. You like him. We had the opportunity to talk to him earlier today. He thanks his teammates and faith-based young man.
This does it all. You know, I tease him and call him the green-eyed bandit because those green eyes get greener and greener, but pretty soon that's going to be money green as the NFL comes calling for him. What about the job Jamari Taylor has done running the football in the absence of Mookie Collier, who left on the first series of the game? But Taylor's come in and done a good job, and I keep saying it must pain folks to see South Carolina State defense allowing teams to run the football in between the tackles as comfortably as we've seen runners do tonight.
Well, they've been able to gash South Carolina State's defense at time with big runs, and Jamari Taylor was elusive in that backfield, very similar to Mookie Collier, the leading rusher in the MEAC, who we mentioned has been out since the opening drive. Taylor again, and Patrick Godbolt is on his back and brings him down. We featured Patrick Godbolt in the open, the preseason defensive player of the year in the MEAC, but he's been relatively quiet tonight.
Yeah, probably his first tackle that we really give him credit for. This is where you see the speed and the recognition. Sees the running back and the quarterback and makes a tackle right at the line of scrimmage. They need more plays like that from this defense.
And those are the types of plays, as you mentioned, Jay, that we've been used to seeing over the years from Bulldog defenders. Can they stack on some more here? Bring in the pressure. Richard gets it away. Jamari Taylor once again. Just a guy who's been tough to bring down. DeMarcus Doe finally stops him after that gain of 9.
And they sniffed it out pretty good on the screen pass, but not able to make a tackle at the initial point of contact. And that allows Taylor to pick up some more yards. Right here, this play sniffed out. Got to make that tackle right there if you're Aaron Smith. Inside linebacker, running back, turned backwards on the screen, and he just missed him.
And the Charlotte native out of the Queen City has looked good all game long. 3 for 5 tonight on third downs. 1 yard a game. Taylor gets that and moves the chains.
How do you slow down a red-hot offense?
Jay, that question I ask of you.
It's like, what do you want to pick? I mean, you've shown that you cannot cover their wide receivers. So most teams say with Davius Richard, hey, we're not going to let him scramble around. We're going to let him throw the ball. Well, don't let him throw the ball tonight because he's throwing darts and flames. So he may be flush him out the pocket a little bit and see if you can limit his big runs.
They've bought Doe on a blitz, Davis on a blitz a couple of times, but just overthrows Joaquin Davis, or that would have been 6 too strong there.
The question is, why are guys getting behind so easily? I mean, this is an open wide receiver. You just got lucky that Davius Richard was off target for one of the few times tonight.
But as you said, oftentimes trying to test the arm of Davius Richard, and he's made him pay both ways tonight. Richard with the defender falling down. Markel Quick targeted for the first time tonight. The 7th different receiver that Richard has found. You know, we have talked throughout his career, and we had asked Matt Leone just what type of player has Davius Richard developed into, and what kind of guy is he? He said, well, he came in pretty shy demeanor, didn't necessarily say much. He asked a few questions here and there, but just gave as few word of an answer as possible. Said, but then when he asked him to regurgitate what he saw in the schemes, Davius nearly said everything back to him verbatim. So he was listening, didn't talk much, but he listened. And how about you listen to Jamari Taylor with his feet, the way he just is able to bounce through, find open space, 7-yard gain for the junior running back.
Doing a good job in backup duty is Taylor. No really drop off. When you've got Collier that goes out the game, Taylor's come in and made an immediate impact in this game. I'm still figuring out you bringing up regurgitate.
Yeah, regurgitate, recall, great recall.
Okay, there you go.
Recall.
Okay, then simplify it for me. There you go. Break it down. Okay.
Oh, you're a quarterback. You know, you can process really well and quickly, just like Davius Richard. You know, 2nd and 3, and his receiver falls down. Taylor was the intended target, coming up the middle on that late blitz with Aaron Smith.
You know, hey, they were at 41 points when they came out the locker room at halftime. So we mentioned at the end of that half, the only chance State had was to score and then get the ball back and score. And now if they can get a stop and a score, you have hope. North Carolina Central, don't relax now. It's a big 3rd down for the Eagles.
Well, 10th play of the drive on this snap. Scott Bolt over the head of the blitzing in, and Jamari Taylor with the move, and then the score. Jamari Taylor said, Drew.
The inexperience of this secondary is showing up. They can't cover anybody right now wearing a white jersey for South Carolina State. The same look basically they got beat on in the first half, running back coming out the backfield. That's all this is. And he's just floating it up there, and he's open right away. The moment they say hike, that guy is running wide open.
Jamari Taylor is having himself a night. Couple of receptions, 65 yards, and a score for Jamari Taylor as Davius Richard continuing to add to an outstanding night.
You see, once you come from him, he's open, and a good running back that sees daylight out there on the perimeter, they're going to find a way to sniff out that end zone. Davius Richard continues to pick them apart. Eagles soaring.
Week 8 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app. They'll have the early breaking stories, injury updates, and so much more right up to kickoff. Then the Monday Night Football crew will be in Detroit. The Big D, the NFC leading Lions, taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes.
Everybody questioning that Detroit team now. They started to look like the old school Detroit. Baltimore carved them up pretty good. I mean, really good. Nobody saw that coming, so Detroit's got to go back and prove that they're not going back like the old Lions of old, that they're here for a while.
Well, check out this crowd here on a Thursday night, Jay, and just, it's felt good. It's a beautiful fall night, dropping into the mid-60s. And the fans from both schools came out to support tonight as Bulldog Nation in the stands, making the trek from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Good look at the home side here at O'Kelly Riddick Stadium. And this has been an example of the student section all night long. Just like, yeah.
Active. And they have some Eagle pride. Then we flip to that. Then on the other side of the stadium is South Carolina State Marching 101, trying to find something to get going.
On the carry, that's Casey Fields, and Casey Fields.
Stop. I don't even like to cut you off. But before that play goes, you have to tell me, why is Howell not in the game? I know you've got a plethora of running backs, and they're all pretty good, but you got one that's special.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And Coach Pugh won way more games than I've ever seen. And they're going to see the whole of the inline scrimmage. But the question I go back to is, why is your hot running back, who just broke off a long one, not in the game right now? You're getting beat by a lot. Ditch your game plan. You're not rotating every series. Show me you can get the job done. All right, I'm off my rant now.
Well, I'll fill in with something right after this first down snap, and Fields completes it to Jordan Smith. Jordan Smith with the move, and then upended by Manny Smith. Well, when we talked with Kevin McGorrick and just the offensive coaching staff this week, he said, hey, we've got so many mouths to feed that we've got to rotate as best as possible. But Jawan Howell tonight, 8 carries, 130 yards, and that touchdown, averaging 16 yards per carry.
And guess what he's doing right now? He's watching on the sideline. Sometimes you can overthink it sometimes. Find the hot hand and go with it. Head scratching.
Casey Fields trying to break one off as he runs into Khalil Baker as a flag flies out late. Pickup of 7.
First down. After the play was over, personal foul, offense, number 49. 15-yard penalty. It will be first and 10.
That's going against the tight end, Khalil Ellis.
And I want to clarify, this is no knock on Casey Fields. They told us Casey Fields is a good running back. And with a good running back, you want to give him all the ball. But I don't think Casey Fields would mind if Howell's having the night he's having, hey, skip my series. You go ahead and take it.
Here's Casey Fields again. So we've seen Fields, Tyler Smith earlier, along with Jawan Howell as well.
And numbers don't lie, right? You mentioned he's averaging 16 yards a carry. That's something there, but now they find themselves, and even when they get the first down, the penalty. And you South Carolina State, you have to start thinking, hey, if we can just score kind of quickly, and maybe our defense can find a way to slow down Central, we can try to get back in this game. But I think they need to have a little bit more up-tempo offense.
Fields could not escape, and he's brought down. The big play. And that's Karfa Kaba with the sack, loss of 2. Now third down on the way.
Just sticking with it. And right there, number 90, you see him able to reach back in, and that's one where they should go back and give out those half sacks as well. Looked like Jaden Taylor did a good job of getting them on the ankle as well. But anyway, they've got 2 defensive linemen winning their battle in the trenches.
3rd and 10, gets it away, but that was quickly met there by Kaba once again, who was right there, step for step with Casey Fields. And there's defensive coordinator Courtney Cord with the neon Kofi on saying, look, way to go.
You see everybody giving him a high five. Look at this. He sniffs it out and then says, I'm going to cover the running back like I'm a defensive back. Give him credit for the pass breakup. Good play there. Good series of downs there from Karfa Kaba.
Fifth-year senior who came over from North Carolina A&T.
Ooh, how'd they do that? Today's college landscape, it's like we see guys go from Grambling to Southern and from FAMU to Bethune-Cookman and Bethune-Cookman to FAM. Wild days.
And Codrington with his knee down, even though he was driven backwards. And he's slow to get up as North Carolina Central will get the ball back when you return.
These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future.
Bull City, well, just 2 miles north of campus lives the street that helped build North Carolina Central University, Parish Street, a.k.a. Black Wall Street in the downtown area. It flourished during the Reconstruction era and was the hub of African-American-owned businesses during the late 1800s, early 1900s, mechanics and bank. Farmers Bank, the first African-American bank in the United States. And then how about U.S. and North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance, which is the largest black-owned insurance business in the world. Eagles offense back onto the field. Richard gets it away, felt the pressure from behind. Had his tight end, Luke Bracey. It's incomplete and second down. A shot hauled, though, fast off the edge. First time we've called his name.
And that was a great job by Aaron Smith. The pressure's going to get to him, but Aaron Smith is not responsible for the tight end, but he's like, I'm going with him. So he ran with them just to get in the way. He recognized the play in the coverage. And although Richard had to get rid of it sooner, it was because Aaron Smith was underneath. He couldn't just put that ball up there anywhere he wanted.
Chris Mosley with the carry, and Mosley tackled. We saw Jalen Evans bring him down, but then Malcolm McGee maybe called for targeting here at the end of that play.
Target was definitely something that was late that came in.
We'll have to wait to hear and then see it again. But it looked like some head-to-head contact, helmet-to-helmet contact.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 0. Will be 15-yard penalty and a first down. That play is under review.
Yeah, so it'll be the 15 yards and under review. And let's see, we knew it was a hard hit play. He came in there flying. The second guy. So Jalen Evans made the initial contact, and then McGee, maybe not anticipating that, just lowered. You see, he comes in there and launches at him. Yeah.
Helmet to helmet. That's pretty.
Helmet to helmet.
Yep.
Yeah. Ball carrier cannot be considered a defenseless guy as a running back, but when you lower that shoulder, there's a launch, helmet to helmet. Yeah, that play is going to stick in a tough break because, wow. So if he gets ejected from this game, that means he has to miss the first half
of the second game when that's homecoming.
That's homecoming.
Because they host Howard in Orangeburg. Buddy Pugh just looks on 3 personal fouls if this holds, which likely it will, as targeting. And so an already thin secondary will get tested likely even more tonight as the free safety, Malcolm McGee, is the guilty party on that targeting.
Yeah. Tough one, but can't do that in college football anymore. That's the game has changed and evolved, and targeting penalties are actually down this year. So the trend is going in the right direction. Players are making the adjustment.
taking some additional time to talk it over, Jay, but when you look textbook by the rule, it appears that it is a clear-cut targeting call.
It'd be just my luck that they overturned it. It'd be just my luck they want to see it over again. And not there, but that's a helmet, head down.
Defenseless player above the head or neck area, helmet-to-helmet contact, launched at him.
Yeah. If you're talking this long and they called it on the field, you can't overturn it. You talk this long about it, I mean, you go with your guy on the field unless you have something to say you're going to overturn.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting. It will be third down at the 50-yard line.
Normally you don't go on a limb like that. You leave it to me.
Yeah,
and they tell me I'm, getting it wrong, but wow.
Jesse Garcia, the replay official, and I think many who are watching would say that was targeting. However, overturned, now 3rd and 3. And Chris Mosley out of the backfield, keeps himself in bounds, picks up the first down, gets a little bit more, and the defender's helmet pops off. That's Aaron Smith, pickup of 8.
And they continue to just exploit them with the running back coming out of the backfield. South Carolina State is not accounting for them, and they're continuing to just run guys out of the backfield, and these guys are wide open.
Davius Richard with 4 touchdowns through the air, another 2 on the ground. And the tackle made, it was Jalen Evans, the first to get to him, and then brought down a loss of 1.
And you talk about things get a little chippy out there on that handoff there. Could have possibly been a hit on the quarterback, Davis Richard. He's a little upset about it. And South Carolina State, hey, here's what you do. You take advantage. It was a targeting. You got away with the targeting. This is that last play. Bam! Keep your head on a swivel. But you take advantage of the situation. They reversed the call, which they shouldn't have. Now make a stop on defense and get your offense the ball.
And pops out from Andrew Smith, who was well covered by Michael Brunson. 3rd down on the way.
Good job trying to come back to the ball, and actually it hit off his helmet, or was that his forearm, shoulder pad. And a few times South Carolina State coverage able to stop something. Too many guys on the field.
Gets off in time as Aiden Weber was sprinting to the sideline. Richard, with plenty of time, steps up, delivers to Quentin McCall, and McCall keeps it going. Converts on their longest 3rd down of the night, and a pickup of 26 rather.
This secondary, they rushed. They showed a 3-8. Like, we're going to have 3 linemen, and then all 8 drop back, and he still found a crease. I mean, look, all those red jerseys in the back there, but they are just struggling with their pass coverage right now. I mean, they didn't disguise it. We're only rushing 3. They had all 8 guys back, 7-8 yards deep, and he was still able to find an open receiver. The woes continued for the Bulldogs.
Back in the red zone. Here's Chris Mosley on the carry. Somehow keeps his balance. And a good pickup of about 5 or 6 on that first down run. Well, Chris Mosley, the redshirt junior out of Fort Worth, Texas. Take another look at that carry.
Well, they've got some depth and good balance as he was being spun around by Zan Dunham. able to pick up some extra yards. Watch him out of the backfield. Mosley. If they want to throw the ball, they'll do the same look and get the running backs involved in the passing game.
Defensive coordinator Thomas Howard. See if he catches on and calls the right defense for the Bulldogs. Mosley on the carry, tried to step outside, and Jared Kirksey is there to drive him back. Tackle for a loss of 4. An experienced and steady D lineman for this Bulldog defensive unit. Under a minute to go. Let's see if the Bulldogs can come up with a stop here. If you're just tuning in, it's been tough sledding for South Carolina State. Got punched in the mouth early on. 14 straight points put up by North Carolina Central. And they kept on adding after that. Richard into the end zone, and what a catch brought in. Touchdown, North Carolina Central. Trotzy Spikes with the grab. The sophomore from Maryland comes up with the catch.
Goes left, knows he's going back shoulder. And look at that location. I mean, that's great coverage by Jamari Benjamin. One-on-one, but an even better throw and catch.
42.
Third touchdown of the season for Spikes. Adrian Olivo on to attempt the extra point. Davius Richard keeps on adding to that touchdown total. A new career high, now responsible for 7 TDs tonight. Better than 100 in his career.
Getting the most from his pre-snap read. They showed it was man-to-man coverage, bump and run at the line of scrimmage. We'll find Spikes, who is one of the taller receivers at 6'2". Back shoulder throw, perfect location. And that's something you practice. And that's where you practice that over and over again. And we get in the game and I get that look, I'm coming to you.
The green-eyed bandit, as you call him, Jay Walker, Davius Richard. He is going to be tough to stop week in and week out. And remaining on the schedule, Howard next week for homecoming. Rather, Norfolk State for homecoming. Then they travel to Howard and then Delaware State. And this one deadens inside the 5. And a flag comes in at the end of the play.
Yeah, this is sloppy here. This is a mistake they've been having that. So you have to go field the ball. You can't let a live ball stay in the field of play. And then at the last second, he comes over to try to get it. But as a defender, you're supposed to give him an opportunity to make the catch. But if he's walking over there like he doesn't want to, so at the last second he goes over, he never gets it. Yeah, that's.
Oh, he slips on the football.
And that should be a recovery. Who recovered that ball in the end zone? Are they trying to say he didn't get an opportunity to return it? I wouldn't agree with that.
Well, this MEAC officiating crew is having further discussion about it.
There's an illegal kicking on the receiving team. The ball went into the end zone. The ball was still live. The kicking team recovered it. It is a touchdown.
Points coming in all kinds of ways tonight for North Carolina Central. Scoop and score. This one a special teams error on the Eagles.
Wow. And did he slip or did he kick it? They're saying he kicked it. They might have got that right. He might have been setting up to kick. Let's see. He's coming over.
It's hard to tell because it looked more like a slip there than a kick, but
he's going to say he slipped.
Chicken or the egg.
He's going to say that he slipped, but, anyway, you got to go over there and get that ball. I mean, he's just a freshman, but we've seen him have his troubles as a return guy tonight.
With Romeo Stansel recovering it in the end zone for North Carolina Central, Levo trots right back onto the field for another PAT. The senior out of Plant City, Florida, has been busy tonight and remains perfect as 21 unanswered points put up by North Carolina Central. And a flag near the 10-yard line as Laundry keeps flying out here. The HBCU national champions from a season ago, coming off a 10-win season.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, South Carolina State, number 25. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. This is number 25's first foul towards disqualification.
And the frustration mounting, obviously. But you think about South Carolina State just a couple of years ago, they were in the Cricket Celebration Bowl delivering another title for head coach Buddy Pugh, beating Jackson State. Both of these teams have that in common as they beat a then Deion Sanders-led Tigers crew. North Carolina Central did it in OT last year in dramatic fashion.
Would you think, fast forward 2 years, and you're seeing North Carolina Central beating them 62-21?
No.
And then let's go back just a year ago around this time, after South Carolina State beat them. Did you think that would be the last time you saw South Carolina State win a conference game? They've not won a conference game since that.
One of the things, Jay, they did win last week against Delaware State.
Yes, they beat Delaware State.
But in talking with and just throughout our discussions with the players and Coach Pugh, they said they learned lessons from last year. They went into the season very confident, feeling like, hey, look, we just came off a Cricket Celebration Bowl championship. We're looking to repeat again. And then the wheels came off. They said it was a really disappointing season. The team was disjointed. And Patrick Godbold, I love what he said because it was a matter of, hey, I'll never let my team fall apart like that again. That was something that they took very seriously as Andre Washington checks in as the new quarterback for the Bulldogs, as that is likely the last play of the third quarter.
This is the end of the third quarter.
We said, soar, Eagles, soar. That's what we have seen all throughout. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by McDonald's. You see the scoring for North Carolina Central, 62 points. That is a season-high point total for the Eagles this season. Tyler Smith on the carry, as we mentioned, new quarterback in, Andre Washington. The backup coming in for Corey Fields. South Carolina State open conference play with the win against Delaware State last weekend.
Showed some signs of hope.
Yep.
Pretty good offensive production. What we always say in the MEAC is defense is going to be there for South Carolina State. Offense is optional. Well, the offense showed up for them versus Delaware State, and the defense did their thing. But tonight, defense optional for South Carolina State. I can't even get those words off my tongue to come to grips to say that.
Prior to that, holding, defense, number 19, 10-yard penalty, previous flag, automatic
And, people are going to look at Buddy and say, oh, well, it's time to go this and that. Buddy's not missing tackles out there. Buddy's not blowing assignments out there. I mean, this is an athletic bunch. When we talked to Trey Oliver about South Carolina State, he said, oh, they got some guys. They got some dudes, and they've got some running backs that are really good. That secondary just looked really bad today. And this team has some talent, but at a certain point, you don't put on the coach. The coach has to go out there and get beat by, 49 points, stuff like that. I mean, they're just not tough to watch. Tough to watch as a guy that played in this conference and saw Coach Buddy Pugh when he first came into the conference and he became the dean of the conference. To see a team like this with two pretty bad performances on national television, it's not the way you want to send out your coach.
And you had to question going into the start of the year, just days before the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge in Atlanta against Jackson State, if that had any bearing on the way they came out and performed. Only scored a touchdown in that game as Quantez Mansfield bringing down the ball carrier, third down on the way. But he felt like, hey, we were going to have a tough non-conference schedule to begin with. And so the idea that you go on and take on a tough Charlotte team and then Georgia Tech as well, the losses to open the season felt some type of way. However, they bounced back and looked good against the Citadel and then picked up a expected win against Virginia Lynchburg. There were signs of life, as you mentioned, Jay.
I think when you look at it, like the teams that they beat, pretty bad football team. It's early in conference play, but Delaware State under first-year coach Lee Hall projected to come in last in the conference. Citadel's not the Citadel of old we used to have it. Virginia Lynchburg is Virginia Lynchburg. So they've got to find a way. And you can make the other argument, hey, the teams they got beat up on were supposed to beat them, but not in this fashion. I mean, Jackson State, dominated them. And now North Carolina Central dominated. Now, those are two of the best HBCUs in the country. I got them both in my top 5. But State's supposed to be one of those teams in the top 5.
And a very reflective Buddy Pugh when we talked to him earlier this week. Just about, he's seen it all, as we said, in a number of great moments as Cobb is just able to get that one off. And the Eagles will get the ball back and likely we'll see a new quarterback for NCCU when we return here to Durham.
ESPN's Thursday Night College Football is presented by McDonald's.
Ernie Barnes, an alumnus of North Carolina Central, played football and ran track here and was also in the NFL before he went on to be a world-renowned painter. Works included album covers for Marvin Gaye and B.B. King, and I think the one that everyone remembers, you call it the what?
Good times every time you want to have it.
The Sugar Shack painting from Ernie Barnes, who sold for a record $15 million.
Yes.
Wow. Iconic, though. Everybody had it. A lot of black households had that, including my household. Here on the carry is Chris Mosley, and Chris Mosley picking up a first down.
And that's like one of those things, that's a little-known HBCU fact. I mean, the fact that he played football here and did the research and went pro, and then when he got injured, the owner, he impressed the owner so much, he asked the owner, could I come on as a photographer, team photographer? He became a photographer, then started painting. But everybody wanted these portraits of themselves. So that's what he went on to do and became world-renowned for that style there. And I'm going to say something about the HBCU experience that teaches you more than just on the football field, but life experiences.
Prepares you for life. As a new quarterback, Walker Harris starting this series. Chris Mosley on the carry as Walker Harris, North Carolina native. He's a guy who we've gotten to see sparingly, but you think about Walker Harris and the way he was able to step in that start against Mississippi Valley State. Threw for 5 touchdowns with the banged-up Davius Richard.
Yeah, and came back to practice and told Coach Oliver, hey, you saw those numbers, right? And he said, timeout, hit the pause, Walker. There's no quarterback controversy. You're good. But Davius is special, but you want your backup to come in there and step up. And he's a lefty, and he can throw it. He's got a lot of zip on it. I don't know how many throws we're going to see from him this evening, but more than capable backup, and that lets you know how good this North Carolina Central team is when the backups can come in and do some damage.
Now, against that SWAC opponent, let me just drop the numbers, how he was feeling really good about himself. He was 34 for 52.
Yep.
5 touchdowns, more than 400 yards through the air. So he's like, just so you know.
You're going to make me be the bad guy, right?
Well, QB of the future.
Yeah, you're going to make me be the bad guy. So those numbers sound great. Who were they playing?
They faced off against the SWAC.
Who were they
Delta
playing?
Devils of Mississippi Valley State.
And have they won a game?
They're under a new head coach this season, Kendrick Wade.
See, I got to be the bad guy. I've got to give you the reality of the situation. Yes, good numbers. And, hey, if you put up those type of numbers versus air, that's a good job. You're supposed to do it. But Valley's going through some things right now. So did I say politically correct? They're going through some things right now. Vincent Dancy left and went to Colorado with Coach Prime. They got a new coach there. A lot of energy towards the program, but it's going to take a little while. They lost a lot of guys. Their best player, Caleb Johnson, transferred over to Prairie View A&M, is running the ball there.
We'll have an opportunity to see Johnson this weekend in Tallahassee as Prairie View, as you saw on your screen, taking on Florida A&M. They'll travel to Tallahassee. The second punt of the night, and this one is blocked as great special teams play by South Carolina State, picking it up off the bounce. And the return, so South Carolina State coming through with a blocked punt. Florida couldn't get it off in time because a diving defender in his face. On the ground, 8th best in FBS. Meanwhile, taking a look at the MEAC standings, things will change after tonight's game. North Carolina Central will move on to 2-0. The rest of the conference games taking place this weekend. 6 teams within the conference. Only one will remain standing as high snap Juwan Howell recovers it.
And when you saw those standings, the talk was if there was going to be a team that was going to go undefeated wire to wire in conference play, Central would be that team. And still seems to be the case that Central's that team. It's just a matter of, you see this play here where just trying to make something nothing as they bring Howell back into the game. But, you have to start thinking, all right, who can knock off Central? The rest of the MEAC will be very competitive teams with losses. South Carolina State's going to go to that bracket of a team with the loss, leaving only Howard and North Carolina Central, the 2 undefeated teams. And in the predicted order of finish, they were 1 and 2 as well.
And here taking off is Andre Washington off to the races. Can't be tripped up and falls into the end zone. The running quarterback taking over for Corey Fields in a 48-yard sprint to the end zone.
We asked Coach if we saw him in the game, what do we expect to see? More runs. He's more of a runner. And you see these are fresh young legs pulling away from him. Quarterbacks outrunning DBs nowadays in college football. Just a freshman.
A Extra point is through by Gavin Zimmerman. And one more look at Andre Washington. Third touchdown of the season on the ground for the South Carolina State backup QB.
Carolina State got to score, try to make this competitive. But, hey, let's go back and revisit, give proper respect where we got to get it right. Jays, give me 5 early. I'll take responsibility. The legendary founder of this university, number 4, is Dr. James E. Shepard. I hear your social media. I spelled the name wrong. Least I can do is get it right.
Founded in 1910 with the vision of growing a community of educated African Americans and generational wealth within families. Jay, I got to give props to Dr. James E. Shepard because he was a businessman and a pharmacist. He created this fantastic institution, Truth and Service, here at North Carolina Central.
And they've got a statue of him on campus. And I'll tell you what, though, he probably could never imagine that North Carolina Central was going to have the number 1 HBCU football team in the country, top 10 in the country. And as they continue to grow, and you know, for me, whenever I think of North Carolina Central, I could have put her name on that as well. I always think of Dr. Ingrid Wicker-McCree, athletic director, and she texted me saying, don't forget who hired Trey Oliver. And there were a lot of people that wanted this job, but Ingrid, you got it right, enjoying her, she says retirement. She's not retired. She's too busy. That's why she's not in town now watching the Eagles. But
yeah, because she would normally be in the track area with the RV, and certainly what a great job that she did. Now, Skip Perkins, Dr. Lewis Skip Perkins, an alumnus
tennis
of
player,
North Carolina Central. That's right. 4-year captain on the tennis team. And the chancellor, Dr. Johnson Kinley. And right now, continuing, what do they say? Eagles soar. Yeah. And every endeavor, in every aspect, they are doing just that.
And you know what it is? And to give them credit again, they were the only MEAC school that lost a Cricket Celebration Bowl when they lost to Grambling 10-9 by 1 point.
And we call that what? The excessive?
Yeah, excessive Celebration Bowl. Put the penalty there. But then they came back and redeemed themselves last year. And I think even since they lost that game, what I liked about their fan base, when they lost to Grambling, they kept coming back for years. They would come to Atlanta when A&T was there. Whoever was in it, they were coming to the game to support that. They got a taste of it. They might as well tell them, you can go on sale. Tickets are on sale now at celebrationbowl.com because they think they got a pretty good chance of making it back to Atlanta.
Well, one hurdle to get over was tonight against South Carolina State, a team who had been their Achilles heel the last few meetings. Meanwhile, you have to go a couple of weeks from now when they travel to our nation's capital to take on Howard, because everybody felt some type of way, both Central and Howard, about the co-champion title. This year, that will be no longer, and there's no championship game within the MEAC.
No.
And so there's a lot of discussion about that, whether Dr. Sonia Stills would institute that, the MEAC commissioner. They say no. And one of the advantages you've seen from North Carolina Central and from other MEAC schools is the fact that they get a month off before the Cricket Celebration Bowl. And there's only been that one time that a Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference school has been defeated. Outside of that, they've won every year outside of 2016 since it started in 2015.
Yeah, and I think, the coaches say, hey, this is so intense, 5-game sprint to the finish line. But, the reality is if North Carolina Central were to lose a game, they would still go to the playoffs. So the conference play of brand of football is getting better as they win more non-conference games to show that we can play, or the MEAC can play a good brand of football and get nationwide respect.
6:12 remaining, and this one, come back with us to the Bull City.
Faith's Flowers wasn't living up to its name, but now she's using Amazon Business. With bulk orders that work around her.
Of North Carolina Central inside the Greek Bowl. Make sure you tune in to Black College Live on our YouTube channel. Subscribe. We highlight the HBCU experience, and Certainly it was a great time today, and you know where we'll be next week now.
We're going down to the Berg.
Yeah.
Orangeburg, South Carolina. But on a Thursday, some of the kids came out, some of the students, and showed us some love and some good show, good package. It'll always be good to go to Orangeburg. I always say South Carolina State, one of those underrated cities for tailgate and good food.
Always have a great time, and you think about the final homecoming for Buddy Pugh. He played there, coaching in his 22nd and final season. And the Bulldogs will look to regroup and rebound next weekend.
Then it becomes anything can happen. You know, you don't control your own destiny. And for South Carolina State, if they were to win out, they would need Central to lose twice, which is just so tough to fathom.
And Buddy Pugh looking on, the ride back to South Carolina is going to be a long one. Again, Howard next weekend, then the Bears of Morgan State, a very competitive group out of Baltimore, and then they close out at Norfolk State.
None of those are easy. Normally you would look to say, okay, they're going to win this one. Best you can do is say a couple of those games, maybe pick them. They'll probably be the underdog in 2 out of 3, I'm sure.
Well, Jay, we had the opportunity to see 4 MEAC teams last week when North Carolina Central survived on the road at Morgan State. They had a couple of weeks to prepare for the Eagles, and boy, were they ready for them. And then Norfolk State almost
ruined homecoming
for the Bison until Kenny Gallup came up with a game-clinching interception to close it out. Brought in by Markel Quick, and Quick off the bounce. He's quick indeed. And out to his 41-yard line. A 14-yard return. We've talked throughout about South Carolina State and the players that they have put into the NFL. Outside of Shaq Davis, everybody else up there is defense.
That defense, these are guys currently playing and difference makers. And we talk about Shaq Leonard, Defensive Player of the Year, outstanding linebacker. Jacoby Durant finding his niche, starting at nickel for the Rams. Javon Hargrave, probably the richest out that group. He's been paid a couple contracts, D-tackle, San Francisco, Antonio Hamilton doing. Shaq Davis is going to be a guy. He's going to learn to emerge, his size and speed. If they do nothing else, South Carolina State, they're going to have football players now.
Take it off. It's Arthur Rogers Jr. And Arthur Rogers Jr. into the end zone. However, there's a flag back at the 42-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And I'm okay with that hold penalty. I don't like hold penalties, but I go back to there was a game where it was out of control and the coach kept trying to throw the ball and run up the score. And the official went up to him and said, next time you drop back to pass, I promise you it's going to be a holding. So in this case here, got him, turned him, stopped the bleed a little bit. Guys going to go out there and compete. Can you imagine that? Coach tells you, if you drop back to pass, I'm telling you it's going to be a holding. And he said, I had to try him. And the coach said, I dropped back to pass. And sure enough, holding. I got the message. We ran the ball the rest of the game. I think if Coach Oliver could do that here, he would probably just, he's going to hand the ball off. Walker Harris isn't throwing any passes. Just take a knee and get up out of here with a very impressive victory.
So we've seen 4 ball carriers carry the rock. Rogers, Mosley, Taylor, and then Collier. Collier, who has been their bell cow this season, the question mark around his health moving forward is going to be one of concern for Trey Oliver.
Yeah, he had to leave the game earlier, but what about the depth? I mean, okay, Collier goes down, Davius Richard picks it up, and then Jamari Taylor emerges.
Chris Mosley again, this time tripped up by Jaden Jones. And some jawing going on at the end of the play. Miles Campbell will trot off the field after that.
Trey looked like he wants to get a personal foul.
And you saw the mouth. That's stupid.
We're winning by so much, you know. What's left to talk about?
Did the ball come out at the end of that one? And Mosley, did he cough it up as he appears to be down on the field?
Rolling on the field is a fumble by the defense. First down, South Carolina State.
So the defense recovering the fumble as Mosley is in pain. You saw him rubbing that midsection.
Can't tell when the ball starts moving, but it definitely comes out.
And you see him immediately grab near the lower part of that 3 after the tackle. And among the conversations, you speak of the depth. You hope that you have a healthy backfield as well, as he's able to get up under his own power, but still grabbing that abdomen area. Well, Trey Oliver and his team on this Thursday night delivering a big blow to South Carolina State as Andre Washington back in on the carry. The final 2.5 minutes are winding down here from O'Kelly Riddick Stadium. And James, just looking ahead to the weekend, a number of games that we'll keep our eye on. We move over to the SWAC. You've got the Magic City Classic with Alabama State and Alabama A&M from Birmingham. We'll be on the highest of 7 hills as the Rattlers try to remain undefeated in conference play, hosting Prairie View A&M.
That's a big one because Prairie View is right now on top of the SWAC West. Florida A&M on top of the SWAC East. And Florida A&M would love nothing more than to clinch it all with nothing riding for that Florida Classic. You know, and that's what you want. That's just not normal. That's not me picking on them. It's just like, hey, you want to have it wrapped up as soon as possible because that last week of the season, you want to have it all wrapped up and clinch that they're hosting the SWAC championship and give credit to Willie Simmons and the crew. That's the way they've been playing the season. Like, we're going to wrap this thing up, leave no doubt, this season.
Dropped it, picked up. Washington just heaves it out of bounds and into the stands.
That Magic City Classic, I mean, what a matchup that'll be. If Alabama State can do anything, they can play defense. They can play defense. Eddie Robinson's a NFL veteran that went to Alabama State. He knows defense. If Alabama A&M can do anything, he score points. So that classic is shaping up to be another classic down there in Birmingham. And it's also the largest HBCU classic in the country. Tailgate started on Monday. We'll see who's got some gas left.
I'm surprised you got some gas left, partner. After the 30th anniversary celebration of the undefeated season, the Howard Bison. And Trey Oliver, whose team just reloaded after last season, winning the 4th Black College Football National Championship a season ago, said, hey, look, we didn't have the star power until the end of the season, but boy, did they absolutely emerge after that. He was a part of this program, remember, when it was Division II as a player. And then when it moved to Division I in 2007, he's now come back, and in his 4th season, the Eagles are the real deal. The final minute here for Trey Oliver, and it was a thumping here on this Thursday night over South Carolina State. And that's going to do it. The coaches will meet at midfield as they were competitors for 60 minutes, but Trey Oliver of North Carolina Central has a ton of respect for Buddy Pugh and what he's done at South Carolina State, and for the coaching legend that he is. Back to being friends as the final in this one from Durham. North Carolina Central moving to 2-0 in the conference, and South Carolina State drops to an even 500 in league play. We enjoyed this one from Durham, North Carolina. Davius Richard